and more. Says that this is from Brad, either the pictures from Brad Penner, but this was written by Frank Urbina. So we're just gonna go through and react to the rankings from hoopshype.com. Links in the description about the offseason trade rumors. Obviously, the first one we've heard is Evan Fournier. Evan Fournier, this guy we've literally heard all season long. And the team that is reportedly interested in Fournier is the San Antonio Spurs, a franchise that greatly values foreign players, but they just drafted Victor Wembanyama, so they probably would like to have a French veteran on the team to help, that Victor Wembanyama can feel comfortable with, and Evan Fournier would be that guy. So if I'm the Knicks, I would give them Evan Fournier and 2 second-round picks for, personally, guys, Zach Collins and Doug McDermott. But if they say no to that, I would do Zach Collins and Kem Birch. Okay? That's the deal I would do. What do you guys think of that? I think that's a pretty reasonable deal. Kem Birch, Doug McDermott, they get a backup center and they get a shooter. It's like $19 million. I think Evan Fournier makes like 18. So technically they'd be taking $1 million, but maybe that there's not even there. But I've heard a few teams that seem like they could make the playoffs have had interest in acquiring Evan Fournier, one of them to keep an eye on for the Spurs. And the Knicks have been against attaching any additional draft compensation in a Fournier trade. So there is that people were saying that, it's interesting. And Evan Fournier said it would be an honor to play for Greg Popovich. Being with Victor, looking at the Olympics, being able to start chemistry on the court, that'd be great. I like that. Next up, Atlanta with Clint Capela. We talked about that. It seemed like DeAndre Hunter was going to get traded at one point, but look, I've said this for months. You have to trade Clint Capela unless you're really trying to screw over Onyeka Okongwu's next contract and try to re-sign him for cheap. But Okongwu's going into year 4. We still haven't seen him start. Let's get the guy outside. Let's get him to play. Okay, and we know Dallas really want him, and that Dallas aren't done. They're trying to make a deal, but Atlanta wants Josh Green. And then ESPN reported earlier this week that, our man was available in Clint Capela. Now it just comes down to, obviously the idea of Luka Doncic, Kyrie running a pick and roll with Clint Capela would be absurd, guys. I think we can all agree on that. That would be so much fun to watch. But what's the deal? I've said it's Tim Hardaway Jr., Maxi Kleber and maybe like a first-round pick for Clint Capela. I feel like that's a good deal because they're trying to get rid of Tim Hardaway Jr. and the Maxi Kleber would have to be the sweetener. Donovan Mitchell. I personally don't think Donovan Mitchell's getting traded, okay? And him joining down the Knicks isn't a far-fetched thing, but Donovan Mitchell will be extension eligible for the Cavaliers, and supposedly it'd be surprising if he signs it. It makes more financial sense to forego it. And yeah, I mean, he's down. It's going to take a few years, but I guess like a lot of people are saying they just don't see Donovan Mitchell re-signing. I just wouldn't, okay? Like, I just don't see the guy being traded. Plus, Mitchell has said he has no intentions of making Cleveland his long-term home. But it's definitely interesting to say. Okay. Let's go to James Harden. Dude, James Harden's trade rumors are so weird. Okay. It's been like this, what feels like, for months. And the latest what we've heard is that Daryl Morey won't trade Harden for anything that doesn't make or doesn't keep them as title contenders, and that the Clippers have been unserious and they don't want to trade Terrence Mann in exchange for James Harden. So with all offers that low, it's hard to see James Harden being moved. So I expect him to stay in Philly for another year. And of course, Damian Lillard. Been going back and forth. We've heard the memos. We talked about it earlier. And, I think it's pretty crazy that perhaps this is why the exact Heat offer for Lillard, 3 to 4 first-round picks, one of the team's young players, with Tyler Hero going to a third team, was leaked to The Athletic recently, perhaps by Miami itself. The likeliest outcome appears that Lillard ends up in Miami, who's going to offer more than the Heat Like, who else is going to offer more than the Heat to trade for a 33-year-old player who might show up disgruntled and will earn $63 million at the age of 36, 37. So there's that. Let me hear your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think? I think it's a wild situation.